Thank goodness for a yoga teacher in Washington, D.C., who decades ago when I was in her class, always started our class with our legs up against the wall. This Viparita Karani, or Viparita Karani, some people call it. And I loved it. It was the end of the workday. We're stretching our hamstrings after sitting at the desk all day, and it certainly affects our circulation. So let's begin this class just like my teacher of many years ago did. So we'll start in a supine pose with our legs up against the wall, and of course we'll be ending the class in a supine pose as well. So enjoy. However it's easiest for you to come over and find your pelvis right at the wall. And now lift your feet up the wall. So just allow now a nice stretch there. Stretch through the backs of the leg. Spread your toes a lot so you get a nice stretch all the way from the heel to the pelvis. Now lift your belly and now take the waistline back. So lift your belly up so that your pelvis is down and you get a nice lumbar curve. And exhale and take your waistline back. Inhale, lift your belly up, and exhale, lower down. 3 more. Inhale as your belly lift. Exhale, you draw your waistline back. And inhale. And exhale. Now bend both knees so that your feet are now on the wall, but take your knees wide apart and have your feet press into one another. So the feet are in prayer pose. Bring your heels down the wall a little bit. Take your hands right at the tops of the thighs and just urge your thighs, coax the thighs to get a little bit closer to the wall. Close your eyes. Take your breath into these actions here. So with the hands, you're drawing your knees closer to the wall. With your legs, you're actually pushing into your hands. So the legs are not passive here. You're pulling in toward the hands, even as the hands are pushing the thighs to the wall. So it's a strong action. It's a strong action of your feet pressing in toward each other. And now that you've been in this pose for several breaths here, see about taking your feet a little bit closer to the floor. So let them slide down just a little bit more. Breathe in and breathe out. Good. Now draw your knees together. Straighten your legs and go straight up the wall, same place we started at. Press the thighs back. And again, if your low back is really pressing into the floor, see if you can get the natural curve of the spine, this lumbar curve. So as you press the backs of the legs, really get as much of the thigh and calf muscle pressing as possible. Now bend your right knee, and as you bend your right knee, just hug the right knee in toward you. So interlace your fingers to the top of the shin bone or the top of the knee and pull the right knee toward your outer right ribs. Keep your left leg straight up, left leg is straight, the thighs pushing back on the left leg as you pull the right knee in. Now inhale, lift your right leg up, press the right leg against the wall, Bend your left knee on the exhale. Interlace your fingers around the left knee and pull it in toward the left outer ribs. Keep your right leg really active. Keep the right toes active. And release your left leg back to the wall. Now take your legs wider apart. So you might not have that much room on your wall. So just do whatever works for you here with the legs wide apart. Now bend your knees so that now your feet are on your wall. And press your feet very firmly. Press your hands to the tops of the thighs or the knees, and see if you can do that same kind of cat and cow that we were doing when we started. So first you lift your belly high. Now you draw the navel and the waistline back, and you'll see that your tailbone kind of lifts up when you do that. And same thing, drop your tailbone down, lift your belly up. So this is good for the inner thigh muscles to get worked nicely. And now do the same thing, draw your waistline back, lift your tailbone up, and draw the tailbone down, lift your belly up, and do the opposite. Draw the waistline back, lift your tailbone up. Good, so you're just trying to get the spine to move here, get the natural curves of this lower spine to work. And again, just continue that cat-cow movement. Your feet are pressing against the wall with the knees bent and the feet wider apart now. Just trying to get the inner thigh muscles to be active as you press the feet very firmly. And now take your feet so that they're together and, about hip distance apart rather than together. With your knees still bent at the wall. With your feet hip distance apart, just roll your spine and lift your pelvis up. And you may have to walk your feet up the wall a little bit to do that. And now roll your spine down. Just take it down nicely. And again, you might have to walk your feet as you do these different movements. So with your pelvis now on the floor, press your feet into the wall. Inhale, lift your pelvis up. And again, you might have to walk up the wall just a little bit. And exhale, just lower yourself slowly down. So you're getting this advantage of what we call an inversion, where now your pelvis is a little bit higher than your heart when you press your feet against the wall. We'll do 2 more of those. Press your feet, lift your pelvis up. Let's pause there just a little bit. You may want to lift your feet up even more. If you want to use your hands to support the spine, feel free to do that. And slowly lower your pelvis to the earth. And just walk your feet down or place them nicely as you pause here. We'll do that 1 more time. Press your feet with your knees bent, lift your pelvis up, and walk your feet up. And slowly take your pelvis down, straighten both legs. And just the way we started, with your feet lifted, with the legs straight, with the backs of the thighs pressing. This pose is called Viparita Karani, or some teachers call it Viparita Karani. But this legs up the wall pose, it's really great for so many things, thyroid being one of them. So So this time, lift your right foot away from the wall, closer to your face. Interlace your fingers around your right thigh. And try to slide your interlaced fingers a little bit higher up your legs. So you just give yourself a little bit more of a stretch on the back side of the right leg. Release your right foot back to the wall. And let's do the same with the left leg. So take the left foot away from the wall. Interlace your fingers behind the left thigh. Just draw your interlaced fingers up toward your knee, maybe even toward the calf muscle. And slowly release your leg back and bend your right knee again. This time, hold on to the right knee with your right hand. Draw your right knee with the right knee bent. Just draw the right knee out to the right side. Just with the knee bent, you're holding onto the knee, you're reaching it out. Reach your left arm out to the opposite side as the right hand holds onto the right knee. Inhale, lift the right knee back to center, straighten your right leg, and bend your left knee. Hug your left knee in. Hold on to the left knee with the left hand. Reach your right arm out to the side and draw your left knee way over to the left side. So just opening up the pelvis really nicely. Inhale, take your left knee back to the center. Straighten the leg. Reach the heel nice and high. Now see about taking both heels away from the wall toward your nose. So as you lift the heels away from the wall, see if you can reach the toes as far away from the wall as possible. Now spread your legs nice and wide apart. Take your hands to your inner thigh muscles. And with your legs away from the wall, with the feet spread, with your hands to your inner thighs, pull your legs in toward your hands, but resist. Press your hands back to the inner thighs. Keep your legs very active as you do this. And now take your feet back together and put them back at the wall. Release your arms to your side with your palms facing up, with your eyes closed. Just invite a nice in-breath through the nose and an out-breath through the nose. Your feet have been elevated for quite a while, so sometimes people feel like, oh, my feet are about to go to sleep here, so we'll be coming out of this pose very shortly. But for now, see if you can keep the feet alert. Maybe you can move the toes a little bit. Bend both knees now. Place your feet at the wall. Roll over. I like rolling over to the right side and just pause there in a fetal position, or if that's not comfortable for you, just make your way to sit whenever you're ready. So lift yourself up as you're ready, and let's readjust ourselves. Find a way to be able to see your screen so that we can shift our practice a little bit. We'll come from a seated pose to all fours position. So as you come to hands and knees on your mat, voila. Tuck your toes under, step your hands a giant step forward and draw your pelvis back. Just relax your head. And inhale, lift yourself up, look up, exhale, draw way back. Just kind of hinge at the pelvic area, and hopefully the leg work at the wall, just got things moving around in the hip joint there. Inhale, lift your chin again. Exhale, draw way back. And two more. Inhale. And exhale, reach back. Last one. Inhale. And exhale. Come back to all fours position. In all fours position, step your right leg straight back with the right foot pressing down. Press the foot to the back edge of the mat. Take your right hand to your waist and reach up and over. Just get this nice length here, length of the side body. Release your hand down. Come to all fours position. Reach your left leg back. Park your left foot. Take your left hand to your waist. Take the head of the left arm bone back. Reach up and over. Let your breath just help you explore and lengthen your left side ribs here as you reach over. And release your hand down. Come back to all fours position. Inhale, lift your chin and sit bones. Exhale, lift the back of your body so fully. Two more. Inhale. And exhale. One more. Inhale. And exhale. So in all fours position, if you have blocks, go ahead and grab them. If you don't have blocks, no worries. But so with blocks, you can step the right foot forward a little bit easier than without blocks, but your choice here. So with your right foot right between the blocks or your hands, just drop in here. Drop the pelvis down. And slowly come back and lift your toes up. Spread your toes, hug in from the right heel to the pelvis. And try that again. Bend your knee, drop in, and slowly take the pelvis back. Lift your toes up. And last time, from the bent leg position where we drop in a lot, we go to a straight leg position with the toes reaching up, the thigh drawing back. Maybe you can even drop a little bit lower toward the straight leg. Come back to all fours position. So find your way back to all fours. And on the in-breath, lift your chin and sit bones. On the exhale breath, just draw again from the waistline all the way back. Inhale again. Exhale. One more. Inhale. and exhale. Step your left foot right between your hands. And same thing, just drop into the pose. And if your back knee is feeling like, oh, that is just way too much weight, if you have a towel or a blanket or something, putting that underneath it will really be beneficial. And since that was my broken leg, I'm really feeling like I need to have that extra protection there. So with the left foot forward, just drop yourself into the pose a little bit. And now straighten the leg. And as you do, lift your toes up. Hug in from your heel all the way to the pelvis so that you get a nice straight leg there. And again, with the blocks, I always find it a little bit more accessible because you can lengthen your spine nicely. But blocks are not totally necessary here. You can bend your knee and drop in again in the low lunge and shift back to come to a straight leg lunge with your toes lifted and with the thighs moving back and draw down. And bend your knee again, drop in and pull back. Take the top of the thigh back, lift your toes up, spread your toes, straighten your leg, and just drop down. And inhale, rise up. Good. So come to all fours position again and again. Just a simple cat-cow. Lift your chin, open your chest, and draw from the navel back to the spine. Look in. 2 more. Inhale and exhale. You just can't do enough of these for your spine. Just to keep that long length of the spine, the spaciousness between the vertebrae. Inhale and exhale. Now let's come to a standing position. So what we're about to do is my 2-minute yoga practice, just to get myself moving because my hips feel so cranky in the morning. You know, it just feels like the body is really not motivated. So here's the 2-minute practice. So stand at the front of your mat. Inhale, sweep your arms up and reach them back. Exhale, take your hands to the blocks. Inhale, lengthen out. Exhale and soften. And if you don't have blocks, take your hands to your shins and rise up. And exhale, soften. Just 3 more times. Inhale, support your spine. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, make your breath really full and bright. Exhale, soften. Inhale, spread your wings, reach your arms up, reach your hands back to open the chest nicely, and exhale, release your hands down. Inhale, with wide arms, reach your arms up and reach them back, standing back bend. Exhale all the way down. You just take your hands to your shins or your blocks and inhale, get long, lift up, exhale and soften down. 2 more. Inhale and exhale. 1 more. Inhale and exhale. Inhale with wide arms, reach your arms up, reach your arms back, and exhale, release your hands down. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Exhale, come down to the earth or your shins or your blocks. Now with your hands, your blocks or your hands alongside your ankles, step your right leg back. Balance yourself here. Either keep your hands where they are, or as you balance, take your hands to the top of your knee. Lift your arms up for a high lunge. Reach up and back. Exhale, take your hands down. Step your back foot forward. Place your hands to your low back and rise up. Reach up and reach back. Exhale, come down. Inhale, lengthen out. Exhale, place your hands by your ankles. Step your left leg back. Keep your hands where they are or balance by taking your hands above your knees. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Reach up and back. Exhale, take your hands down. Step your back foot forward. Place your hands to your low back and rise up. That is the 2-minute practice. And it just as a way to just clue you into your breath and just get the hips a little bit lubricated. Get a nice back bend in, forward bend in, so your spine starts to elongate. So that's a nice, easy preview of what you can do to get yourself going in the morning. But let's go back down to sit on the mat, or sit on your blocks, or sit on your blanket, whichever works for you. Lightly on the blanket. Take your feet wide apart. Bend both knees. And when we were at the wall, we had our knees bent. We were pressing the feet very firmly into the wall. So imagine that with your knees bent, your feet are still pressing into that imaginary wall. And you're probably starting to feel those inner thigh muscles work nicely. Turn toward your right knee. Take your left hand to the outer knee. Take your right hand behind you and twist nicely. So the knees are bent just to get these inner thigh muscles working. Your toes are very active. You're just turning yourself toward the right knee. Pull in with the left hand so that you can have a little resistance. With the right leg pushing against the hand, you can just let your ribs lengthen and elongate a little bit more. And release down. I guess your ribs can't lengthen. I meant the space between your ribs can get more expanded. So let's twist to the opposite side. So take your left hand to the block. Press into the block. Press your hand to the outer knee or outer thigh. Twist here. And again, it looks really passive, but your legs are really working here in this bent leg position. You're hugging in from your heel. Sometimes people's heels don't like this so much, so if that's the case with you, you can just put your feet down. But if your toes are lifted, it's just a little bit more action to the inner thighs. Twist nicely. And come back to the center position. At the wall, we placed our feet in this prayer position. So let's do that in the seated posture as well. Take your hands right at the shin bones. Lift your knees up. Press your feet very firmly. Widen your elbows and draw your heart down toward your feet. And just invite the in-breath and the out-breath to allow you to go a little bit deeper here. Soften all of your facial muscles. Drop a little bit lower in the forward fold. And inhale. Lift yourself up. Fold your knees in toward each other. And just like we were at the wall, we were that L shape at the wall. Now we're seated in that same shape. Press your thighs back, meaning toward the floor, and draw from your kneecaps up toward your pelvis. See about lengthening the sides of the ribs. Get as much length there. Take the heads of your arm bones back. Press your hands down and lift yourself really fully. Lift your chin. Take the top of the throat back so you open your heart nicely. And now slowly release out of that pose to lie on your back in that same L shape that we were in. So feet are straight up toward the sky. We'll lie on our back. This time we won't have the support of the wall. So as you lie down with your feet straight up, that same L shape, take your arms nice and wide apart. And just like we did at the wall, take your feet wider apart, bend both knees. So it's as if your feet are still pressing that imaginary wall. That you press in so fully into that imaginary wall. Take your hands to your inner thigh muscles. Now push the thighs against the palms of your hands and resist with the arms. So the legs are working, the hands are working nicely. Now begin to straighten your legs. As you straighten your legs, go even wider. Now pull the legs in toward the hands. And as you do, see if you can get this nice resistance going on. Isometric action of the legs, pulling in as the hands push out, and slowly release your feet. Come back to that L shape that we were in at the wall. Bend your left knee and just place your left foot on the floor. Keep your right leg lifted. Interlace your fingers behind your right thigh. And just draw the right foot a little bit closer to you. Keep your left foot on the floor. Take your right hand with the right knee bending. The right hand is just supporting the right knee as the right leg just draws over to the right side. Now the left leg, as the right leg goes a little bit closer to the right side, the left knee just wants to flop toward the floor. So your job is to keep the left leg very, very active. You're pressing the left foot down, taking the right knee over to the right side, just opening the pelvis nicely here. Draw your right knee back to the center line. Reach your right leg up toward the sky. Interlace your hands behind your right thigh. Good. And slowly release your right foot down. Good. Pause here. And as you pause, press your feet down. Pull the heels isometrically toward your heart with your elbows bent, with your elbows pressing. Inhale. Lift your pelvis up. Exhale, draw your pelvis down. Keep your right foot pressing the floor, but take your left leg straight, left foot up toward the sky. Good, just draw it in first. Now bend your left knee and just hold on to the left leg as you take your knee wide. Again, the right knee, keep that right knee like as a spotlight, just looking straight up, not over to the side. As you take your left knee over toward the left side, see about keeping your right hip point, again, like it's a spotlight too, looking straight up to the sky. And inhale, lift your knee up. Exhale, release your foot down with the feet hip distance apart, with your elbows pressing, with your fingers nice and splayed here. Press down through your elbows to lift up to a bridge pose again. Lift your pelvis really high. If you look back toward your thighs, hopefully you can't even see them. You've got such a lift of the belly, lift of the chest. And now slowly lower your pelvis down. And just hold on to your thighs or your knees and move side to side. And when you do, hopefully you'll find one area that could just use a little bit more of your love and attention. And just stay there. Just rock to one area that feels like, oh gosh, it could use a little bit more massaging than other parts. Stay there. Give it a little bit more of your body weight. A little bit more of the power of your breath. So that you've just got this nice flow of prana, we call it. Prana, prana. So this life force energy. And if you have certain areas that feel a little sluggish, a little out of balance, it's the yogi's job to just kind of bring it in balance. And this imbalanced way in yoga is called equipoise. So once you feel like you're coming into balance here, that state of equipoise, straighten your legs and reach your arms out to the side. Focus on your breath. Allow a nice, slow in-breath through your nose. A long exhale breath through the nose. Enjoy your Shavasana. Continue to stay in Shavasana. Invite the breath to take you to this place of deep relaxation. Thank you for the practice. Namaste.